This is Luke Hawker, Krampus, and you're listening to Without Your Head.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me Tara Roy.
And joining us, we just found out from his private jet, we have a prolific filmmaker making his return here to Without Your Head. First time live, I believe. Justin Price, how you doing?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you hear the noise, just drown it out. We didn't pay for silence. You know, that's just how it goes. That's extra in my contract. You know, it's been such a blessing. So again, thank you guys for the support. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for supporting filmmakers and the craft. I just can't tell you how important that is. You guys know your place in this lexicon of filmmaking. So thank you for that, and I'm so gracious for the opportunity.
Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, you're very welcome, and it's always great to have you on. I always enjoy talking to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you've got a few movies out this year, but right now you have The Elf, and I always have a soft spot, a special place for Christmas horror movies. I pretty much like all of them to varying degree. Why? What is it about Christmas time that makes it really blend well with horror films?
Well, The Elf is out now in the red box. Not a shameless plug, but it's just a moment for me and the crew. We have 4 films in the red box right now.
Mm-hmm.
How amazing is that? Like, just
that's wild.
The cast and crew, man. Picture Zero. Shout out to Uncorked Entertainment, Keith Leverett and their company, and High Octane, just for what they're able to put together and find, great projects. We have Alien, Reign of Man, The Elf, Forsaken, and we have The 13th Friday, all at one time. I went to go rent it, put a picture up. I just thought, let's just capture this moment, and to get to the question specifically, I think what's great about Christmas is this is the time when everyone sort of forces themselves to dig into our better selves, right? We're like, you know what, let's all come together. Even if you don't like Uncle Rick is okay for Christmas because it's the holiday season. And it's almost like when people are feeling, at the Olympics because it's for country. And you see people hugging and grabbing flags and sort of just kind of bonding. Even if at home we're having our differences, this is the time we put them to the side. And I think Christmas is a great opportunity for that. And what better way to F that all up than to throw some horror in there? Let's just kind of bring it back to reality and go, let's kind of throw a monkey wrench into that idea and have people bond over something that sort of brings a little chill factor to the festive holiday spirit. And that's what The Elf was, and that's what makes it made it great, man, and fun to kind of play with two things there. We're still talking about 1990 sort of old school horror, like that throwback feel to where you created the scenario, of what's underneath the bed or what's in the closet or what are these guys, the unknown sort of killer or entity, if you will. And that was very fun, man. It's different. It's hard as hell. So shout out to the people who made movies in the 90s, the Stephen King and et cetera. Like, it's very difficult because it's character driven and it's melodic and it's timing and it's pacing. And it's something that I'm still working on because it really does require that because part of me wants to just blow shit up. And and you want to kind of guard against that so much, but that's what The Elf. I'm like, man, I just want this elf to kind of come out and grab people and throw them out of closet or throw them out a window or something, and then you got to realize, oh yeah, wait a minute, we don't. I don't know. It's very weird, man. You want the elf to sort of represent something more so than to physically do it, and I think Annabelle does this very well. Like the doll very rarely does anything. The doll is kind of sitting there. But stuff is happening around it, and it's creepy. But the doll isn't like realistically running around grabbing people and like dragging them underneath. It's more like there's like supernatural stuff happening, right? And that was something I wanted to. I was like, you know what, I would do that, but then in the independent world, as you guys know, we have to go a step above.
Sure.
So if I do something like that, it's more like, yeah, that was cool, but we didn't see much of the elf. So I have to kind of try to figure out a way to incorporate it even more, and I think the parts that we saw the elf were some of the best parts of the film.
Hmm. And there are a lot of very creative kill scenes, which I mean, I too like all various things of horror films, but at the same time, I do like a cool, unique kill scene that incorporates something that you haven't necessarily seen in a Christmas film. And there's a lot of fun ways to kill people with Christmas items, I think.
Oh yes, yes, man. We had fun. The scene, one of everyone's favorite scene, the Christmas Caroler scene. If you haven't seen the movie, get out, see the film. What we wanted to do with the Christmas Caroler scene is just a few things that's funny about that, and it just I'm just taking you into what we did there. I wrote in the script that they're gonna sing, and there's gonna be right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how specific I was. When I got to this location, I didn't realize that we needed an actual song. I don't know what in my mind I imagined people could just do what I could do in my head, and I'm like, guys, what are you doing? They're like, dude, we need to carol something, and I think, oh shit, that's right, you guys are singing. Wow, and it can't be something I don't have the copyright to, so I'm just writing lyrics, and it doesn't even make sense. I'm just writing stuff, and it just came out very festive, and it was fun, and so they kind of learned the song while we were on set, and while we were there, the guy that was the lead guy, I think Lauren Haskins, who played the curly head, sort of over the top theater director, choir director, if you will. He was there and he was prepared to be a different type of choir director because he thought this was like a very serious movie. He didn't get the script, I guess. I don't know what was going on, but he came prepared to do something else. And he was like, yeah, I'm ready for my lines. I said, no, whoa. It's not, it's not really a serious moment. You're caroling at a scene at a house. So, and then he completely flipped it, and shouts out to people who have talent to just adjust the day of, and kind of understand how to change the character up. And it was just so fun, man. It was fun and flamboyant and outrageous, the scene. And the whole idea behind it was we wanted these Christmas lights, and we wanted to have to sort of have a lot of deaths happening. And it's almost like what we kind of want to happen. I don't know, maybe speaking for myself. When people kind of knock on my door and start singing, and it's kind of cold because you're halfway between being nice and being rude, because back to that festive time of year, you don't want to say, hey guys, I don't really need this right now. I didn't get what I wanted for Christmas. I'm broke. I don't need any of this joyous singing at 10 o'clock or whatever the hell time it is. So it's really fun. It was really fun to do, to kill the people outside.
No, I'm totally with you, because I actually wrote that in my notes, because you're rooting against the carolers at this point, because they're very annoying, and you're like, oh, I wish someone just stop these people.
Someone should kill these guys. That's what's so great about this. We're able to do stuff like that and get away with that shit. I know everyone's like, cool, that's great. We can kill grandma, and that's okay. Everyone's fine with it.
I assume you've never went caroling yourself.
Actually, I wanted to. And all right, we're going to get into this just because I always rip this Band-Aid off when we get on these podcasts. So excuse me. In the community that I grew up in, the hood, I guess. I don't know what's the best way to say that. I don't know the politically correct way. The place I grew up in,
right.
We were just happy to have each other. We're just happy to have Christmas. Like if you just were able to be around family, you're good. But we didn't really get to do any of the things that you saw in the Home Alone, where people had the turkey in the oven and the tree and the fireplace and the gifts stacked from the door to the staircase kind of a thing. We were more hand-me-down, borrowed gifts. My mom wrapped socks, and I already owned them. She wrapped them and put them under the tree, just so I had something under there. It was all right, cool. So I've always had this idea of wanting to do something like that. But we're in a community where, I don't know, if you go in someone's yard, my neighborhood, Neil, you may not make it out of there. I don't know. It wouldn't be a good look. I just say it like that. You know, on a random person's door and start singing. It wouldn't work out too well. Let's just put it like that. I mean, you'll be a meme instantly. It'd be a hashtag, like Carol Lives Matter or something. I don't know. It would be a good look,
that.
from the offset. So we always had the idea of it, because I think we really were fantasize about the ideas of things, and I really would have loved love to just dressed up and just spread joy. I don't want to make it seem bad. I think it's really nice what they do, but
Sure.
I don't know. We just never were able to get enough people together, and it has to be incentivized. You know, something, cookies, hot cocoa. I don't know what we get from it before we can go do it. I always wanted to. Maybe it's something I'll try to do now. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe you'll get killed by an elf doing it. But
I might be killed by exactly. If I do, then you'll know. You know, that'd be like there it is. See, that guy should have known better. He wrote that in the movie. Came back and on him.
And I can sympathize. I grew up on the mean streets of Cape Cod. It's very
oh wow.
It's the exact
that's
opposite.
Like straight out of Cape Cod. Yeah, that's pretty. I heard about that place.
That, right? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty hot.
There's a lot of legends about Cape Cod.
Yes, right. And our lobster dinners and yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys.
So you mentioned
disgusting what you had to go through.
You mentioned right at the beginning about Uncorked, and so what's your relationship with Uncorked? Like, how did it start? And because you put out a lot of movies with them.
Great question, man. They call me the king of independent cinema at the moment. I've released about 8 films in over a 3-year span, so it's pretty dope. And I'm talking like directing, writing, and producing, not just kind of throwing my name on someone else's project. That's a lot of work, you know. Picture Zero Entertainment is my company. Koo is my producing partner and COO, and Deanna Grace Congo and David Cosarus and Lisa May kind of make up the core. And what happens with Keith at Uncorked, and this is the dopest thing, man. Keith started out working at Blockbuster, if you will, I believe.
Oh wow!
And you know, he's so seasoned. Like he was buying for Blockbuster, you know, for 20 years or so. And so he knows films, and he dealt with people every day, you know, that shelf space. He was responsible for that. He was responsible for finding content and great filmmakers and films that people gave up on, because in the 90s, your movie being in Blockbuster was, again, it was like, that was the film that didn't go to theaters. So it was like the independent cinema. That was where you would find your Pulp Fictions. Where you would find your art films, your art house kind of films. You know what I mean? You remember that? Just walking the aisle.
Oh yeah.
Looking and go, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Those were the best.
Like, what is this? And it's like a masterpiece. I mean, that's why I saw like Requiem for a Dream. You know, it didn't have great box office success, but there it was, Requiem for a Dream. And you're like, what the hell is Requiem for a Dream? What's this eye on the front cover? And it's a phenomenal film. Like one of the most amazing films ever made. And these are the type, you know, he's responsible for filling spaces with, all right, we need to get that film and not just buy one copy. We need to have a whole wall of it. And we're going to kill these people for $2.99 a week. But still, that was his responsibility. And I think he just took that energy and that sort of know-how. And I don't know, man. It's just sometimes when God shows you favor, you don't ask questions. You just smile at the blessings and continue to output with that reality. And every time we're able to piece together a film that fits within what Uncorked's trying to say and their vision, then he acquires it, you know. And it's a great working relationship, because I'm able to make films, and I'm also able to make them in a way that there's not a lot of handcuffing there, you know. Like it's very difficult right now to do films. It's very difficult. The attention span of everyone is all over the place. Everyone's trying to figure out where the industry is going, where it's been. Everyone's trying to figure out how they fit into the new marketplace, how they fit into the old marketplace, trying to figure out what people are consuming, what they're not watching, how they're watching it, and et cetera. So to be able to put movies out, it's never lost on us how difficult it is, you know. And that's why I was just so excited to have 4 in. And it starts with a company like Uncorked going, we believe in providing high quality content, and we believe in taking chances. Like I said, I could have done a movie with the elf and just been safe, maybe not even use a real elf, kind of just, I don't know, make something really cheap looking, throw it on throw it somewhere.
Of course. Well, I get many screeners like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, just kind of just the idea of it is enough sometimes. And then it kind of see what happens from there, man, and go, yeah, it's going to be out there no matter what, and not try to really push the envelope. And I think for each of the films we've done, like we went over this with Alien Rain of Man, we're shooting in Iceland, you know, and this movie I'm doing now, I'm going to Egypt to shoot.
Oh, wow.
Which is unnecessary. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, yeah, you went to Egypt. You're like, oh, okay. But You know, you know what I mean? It's just that extra
Go to
something that
Egypt,
keeps
though.
looking for. You know what's so crazy about that story? Before I went, I booked tickets, right? And then that mosque, the tragedy happened in the mosque. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, you know, I was like, who knows? Because I'm so crazy. I could potentially have found myself in that area because that's how I film. You know, I'm not going to go, oh, let's just, like, I find spots that look great, look for what we're trying to do. And we kind of just do it, you know? So you just never know. I was in Turkey a week before the airport bombing happened. I was in Turkey. So it's really crazy, like how just missing these kind of moments, you know, and it's just, you just never know, man. And so, you know, shout outs to, you know, to the people that went through that. But it's really crazy. It's just taking risks. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say we're out here living life on the edge. I'm just explaining that when you're pushing the envelope as indie artists, you just never know because nothing's really, you know what I mean? It's like documentary filmmaking, for example. And that, what's that great one, The Code? You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know, those guys could end up missing. And so, because you're just kind of out there gunning, you know what I mean? You just don't know. It's not like there's like the consulate and security detail ensuring that you get this filming right. You know what I mean? So it's like you're taking a chance. So when we shoot somewhere like that and we just can't get clearance for it, I'm still going to do it. So, like, you'll find me at the top of the pyramid, for example. It's like, what are you doing up there? Like, or
it's a great shot.
There. It's the most dangerous spot of the pyramid. You know, I don't know that. Like, I didn't even think about it. Someone said, hey, you know, Iceland is like really synonymous with people getting lost and dying in the cold. I was like, really? Huh? Because you don't have any cell phone service. I was like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I just had a camera. I didn't think about what happens if if we don't make it back. It's not like there's a bunch of tourists that are going, you know, that film crew that was over in Buttfuck there. We got to watch out for them. Just find my camera equipment, like a tripod and the alien suits. And how dope would that be? You don't know what the hell's going on. You see like alien suits on the ground and like me in like a wetsuit and a gun.
You're just
like,
frozen. Yeah.
These guys were fighting extraterrestrials over here. It's crazy. I knew that shit was real, you know? Like X-Files, like Mueller and David Duchovny show up. That'd be so dope. But no, it's really cool, man. Uncork the relationship. It's just being able to find something that fits within what they're looking for as a company, and you know, more often than not, they seem to like what we're able to do, and we're just gonna keep pushing the envelope as much as we can.
Is are your parents still alive? Is your mom still alive? Because what you said about your mom, you know, wrapping your socks for Christmas, and so I was just wondering what she thinks of now. You know, you're in Iceland and you're Egypt, you got to go film a movie, and you've got all these movies in Redbox.
My mom, Faye Price. Shout out to the Price. Moms, love you. I know you're not listening to this because you're probably asleep, but my mom is still alive, and that's a great question. I've never actually been asked that, and I've been asked a lot of questions on my private jet. My mom is like my hero, man, and so it's so awesome because coming from where I come from, it's not a knock on it. Whenever someone brings something up, we're just talking about where we come from. It's a perspective. You know, it could have been amazing for someone else. It's just all about what you saw and how it was for you. You know, you can have a crazy situation in the middle of Manhattan, you know, downtown New York. It doesn't matter about the place. But from my perspective and how I grew up, and I just didn't know I would be able to escape just the surroundings of where I come from. You know, in the African American community, man, just in general, it's a lot of bad areas in the sense of just opportunity wise. You know what I mean? Like just opportunity. We're not talking anything specific, not crime or anything, just opportunity, just the outlet to go to college, the finances to go to college. You see what I mean? Like just an opportunity to get away and better your life, you know, if it's not military, et cetera. So I had to literally go out on faith and just, I'm going to make films, which is very weird. And so my mom at first was just very scared for me. She's like, dude, that makes no sense. I don't know anyone doing that. You know what I mean? There's no one I can call. I can't call up Auntie Tracy and ask how her nephew's doing in filmmaking and then kind of have a comparable conversation. And so it was really just a scary thing where no one around me could see it because it takes vision. Because I didn't even know what the hell it was. I just thought I was going to make films. I was actually acting first. So I had no clue what that meant. And so to see that juxtaposition to now, to see like where we've come from, just to be able to put out the content, just to be released and consistently continue moving forward. This is all we do at Pictures. That's all I do. I make films. That's it. Like every day we're making a film. Every week I'm pitching something. And there's no real reason for it. We kind of just created a niche for it, like where everyone's coming down to, we've been for a while making films as far as figuring out the budget, figuring out genre, figuring out how you want to execute, and executing without having to go through all the Hollywood bells and whistles. So my mom's able to see that and taking pictures with me at the Red Box, man, and telling her friends. It's like that Biggie Smalls song. She smiles every time my face is up in the stores. Like take it with the mink. For those that know the song, so it's really cool to see that. And I just wish I could. I just want to keep going forward so I can do more and do even more. Like right now, I'm just selling for going home and dropping a few dollars in the cookie jar or fixing the doorknob. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, man, that doorknob hasn't worked for years. I got you. I'm going to Lowe's tonight. And we're getting a $30
awesome.
doorknob. We ain't getting none of that Dollar General shit. The $30 doorknob with the extra key. So I'm able to do that now with no sweat, Neil. You know what I mean? Straight.
That's very cool. And you got Christmas coming up. Do you have any plans?
Yeah, well, I'm actually heading to LA, and funny story. Okay, so my cousin, who's always at the airport, shout out to PJ, he always calls me, but he seems like one of those guys that calls me with things that I don't know why he's calling me, because it's always like a get-rich-quick scheme, or he's going to tell me something I already know. Does that make sense? Like, you have people like that? They call you up, hey, man, it's raining outside. You're like, all right. I don't know, like, it doesn't go further than that. I don't know if that meant something, like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, thanks, PJ. And you just hang up the phone. You don't know what, I don't know. It's like, he never explains it further. I never got a further explanation. But, so he called me, he works at the airport, right? So again, you just imagine, like, someone this cool and energetic at the airport. And so we're shooting this Egyptian film, like and I'm in the caves. So at this one particular moment, I decided to go to Walmart. I said, I'm going by myself because Walmart's an experience. And on my Facebook, he says, hey, call me, cuz. And usually when people put cuz or some type of thing at the end, that means they want to borrow money. That's a little side note for anyone listening. If someone says, hey, call me, Unc. They need to borrow something. That's not a good conversation. Like, you know who you are to them. Now, you don't have to say, call me, Mom. Hey, wait a minute. Whoa, what is this? So I almost didn't call, right? I was like, I'm not going to call him. He just wants to borrow money. That's what I was thinking. But that's fine. I called. Like, it was just so random. I said, I'm going to do it. Maybe he wants to tell me it's cold outside. I don't know. So I get on the phone, and as soon as I get on the phone, I hear like, hey, what's going on? This big Snoop Dogg. I was like, what? What is going on here? He's like, yeah, man. Yo, Snoop Dogg wants to talk to you about film. And so he's there, and apparently he's like hyped me up to the point to where like Snoop Dogg's father was there, and he's like, yo, get my information. We're going to talk about doing some films. And so come on out, when you get back to LA, because I live in LA. So he's like, come on, when you come home, I was in Texas at the time. When you come home, let's sit down. And so that's what I'm going to be doing for the holidays, because most of my family lives in Georgia. I'm the only one that lives in LA technically. So I'm coming out to see Snoop's dad first, and then Snoop, and then talk films. And that's going to be my holiday, hanging with Snoop.
It sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that's badass.
Get you excited, awesome. Nothing will, right? How is that? And then I got a call from Professor Griff, for those who know, Public Enemy. And he's interested in doing, having me do his new film, Occult Inc. It's a documentary film, and I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, and we may meet up too. So we got Public Enemy and Snoop Dogg. If all the old hip-hop heads, it doesn't get any better than that for Christmas. That is, I might be militant and have a J all at the same time. So I don't get in trouble. But that's what it is. I don't know. So it's going to be that, I'm going to celebrate with that, and also by renting The Elf from Redbox, available
There
now
you
in all
go.
retails. I'm joking. So
Yeah. This is a perfect time to rent it, though. And speaking of Uncorked again, because you mentioned that the guy who owns Uncorked, I guess, was from Blockbuster, and like the Elf has such a good artwork for the cover, and to me that kind of makes you think of going to the old video store because you'd rent stuff based off the cover usually. So if I would see the Elf at Blockbuster, I was like, holy, I'm definitely gonna rent that. And I think the same holds true, for Redbox.
Oh yeah,
So,
if you saw it in the old clamshell case, you
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's that's why I'm getting. That's why you have to lean on people who know what they're doing. I sent you if you guys are available, go to IMDb. I did a mock-up poster for the Elf, and it was like I had to cater myself down a little bit because I've been told a lot, especially by Keith tells me this a lot. He says, listen, you have to kind of draw your mind down because your shit's like working in different areas, and you got to bring it down to where we can consume it as an audience and really understand. I'm not as good as Tim Burton as to articulating visually that mind, or James Cameron, or people, these great authors who are able to have something weird going on, but able to allow you into the room, right? There's nothing worse than the artist that, well, I mean, I don't want to say worse, but it's nothing odd or I guess mercurial for an artist who have a vision that no one else gets. So I can only liken it to Starry Nights or something, or Basquiat. Like you're putting something together that people are going, what is that? And why did you do that? So at the time it's very weird. And then ultimately after the appreciation period, kind of comes this moment of, oh, I get what you're trying to say. So I did a mock-up poster for the Elf, and it's very dark. It has like a spider web and Christmas.
I'm looking at it right now. I like it. I like it too. Mm-hmm.
That was what that's my vision of like, yeah, let's do some Elf stuff, and it was like very moody and brooding. Like, I'm like, no one's renting that. That's what Keith's like, no one's renting that movie like that.
I would.
I would not rent that.
Yeah,
movie.
Neil and I would. That's about it, maybe.
You see what I mean? So it's only like people who be like, I like what you're doing that, but we're kind of going for like a broader audience than like, you see what I mean? So I had to do that a lot, man, when I had to lean on the expertise of people who are just better at this than me. Even when I'm making films, because there's certain things I would do that really probably wouldn't fit the mold of, I'd say just normal consumerism. It's like, yeah, that's a little weird that you wanted to do that with the Elf. So, I mean, I try to cater it a lot, man. So it kind of makes my movies disjointed a little bit. But I think it also helps because you're getting that expertise, that input from people who understands the marketplace, who understands filmmaking, they understand what you're trying to accomplish and how not to get lost in the fray. Because I never let my ego get in the way. I don't go, you know what? I made the best damn poster, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you think that poster is going to do well and you like the artwork, a lot of people love the artwork. And I'm like, yep, there you go. That's why, it's a collaborative medium.
Yeah. I honestly think both. Yeah, I'm a big fan of both of them. I really like the one they use, but after seeing yours, I like it too. But I could see exactly what you're saying.
Right? Yeah. It'd be a little dark. The kids may be like, oh my God. It may kind of be off-putting, if you will. Like, you don't know what you're about to get. It's going to be like I don't know, man, like a rock and roll Satan movie. I don't know what the demonic possession Elf. I don't know what's happening. Have a pentagram on the back.
So what is this movie you're making in Egypt? What's it about? I don't know how much you could talk about it.
No, that's fine. I can talk a little bit about it. So I'm doing this movie, and see, here goes again. I'm so blessed, man, but it's trying to get it figured all together. We'll figure it out. And the Oscar or not get the Oscar, like, in Moonlight, I'll come back of these moments. Essentially. So it's like Mummies, but I thought it'd be really dope if we did Adam and Eve in a way that was like how we, okay, we know that the Egyptian culture is very, very advanced, the Mayan culture, etc. But I was thinking it's advanced for us. But even at that time, there were things that didn't make sense, which is why they, all these cultures and societies, that we have our ways of interpreting phenomena. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be really cool if Adam and Eve was not a one-time thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this was something that occurred over and over throughout centuries, and just for some reason, it was stopped during the Egyptian time frame, like 4000 BC, and now it's being reinvigorated by these archaeologists who dig it up and sort of awaken them. And now their goal is to kind of restart life again. And it's like, oh shit, well, hold on, we don't want that to happen. Like, hold on, Adam and Eve, let's pause. And so I think that'd be a really cool way of doing a mummy movie. Because, I mean, you know, we've seen so many types of mummy films,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always this, like, power struggle, if you will. And I thought, would it be great if it's a love story? And it's not a love story where they're trying to take over the world, and we're not trying to do anything. I mean, it's really about mankind sort of interfering with the natural order of things, and in a way that, out of a power struggle, you know, we sort of invented monsters out of people who were not monsters. And I think it's really cool. So I'm kind of making it more of a heartstring type mummy movie, where they're lovers being held apart from each other. So I think it'd be really cool, man, because again, now it's not so much centered on mummies sort of wreaking havoc, and more like mankind being the sort of the antagonists that we tend to be a lot in some of these real life stories. And so I thought it was really cool. So that's what we're kind of focused on.
It sounds good to me, because
really
I really like the original Universal monster movies. In almost all of them, the monster is not necessarily a monster. Like they're either man-made or they just don't fit in society. And the original Mummy does have a lot of is really a romantic, tale at the heart of it. So it's interesting to explore that more than just like the violence, like you said.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope, man. I'm looking into it. I mean, most of the time, what happens with this, and this, I know we have a lot of independent filmmakers or just filmmakers. I hate. Well, it's hard, man. We are putting things in categories, but it's just filmmakers. Listening. Mm-hmm. When you have ideas and you're trying to execute things, it really just kind of, that's what makes it great. It makes it a challenge, and it makes it interesting. How am I going to execute this with the doorknob money that I'm using to piece it together? Like, what shortcomings are we going to have, and how are we going to usurp those and ensure that we tell a great and engrossing story. So that's what makes it really cool, man. We just got through filming in a cave. And we just got to filming in a dig site, which was like a landfill site, to sort of dig up the sarcophagus, if you will. Yeah. And I was thinking, how the hell are we going to figure this out? How are we going to piece that together? And things just start happening, man. And you run into some really cool stuff. And then out of nowhere, the cave that we were filming in, we started using real fire, which I don't know if you know about caves, but that's not really what you want to do, because the oil and smoke
gases
on the formation and destroys the cave. So I was like, oh my God, we might have destroyed a 50,000-year-old cave. This movie is gonna be the shit. Like that's all I thought about. So it's really cool. So we're running into a lot of those moments as we're filming right now, and so it's really great, man. And just Brittany Daniels is the lead in it, and she's doing well. It's just really cool, man. We have such an outlet to put together talent and people to kind of make something, and that's really, really where I like to put my hat in, to give an opportunity to people that you normally wouldn't see on screen, and not whitewashing the mummy, or whatever. Like, he's not a white guy, bald. He actually got a guy from Egypt. Hashish. So it's really, I know that sounds crazy, but I like to try to take my pictures where we can take them. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult. It was a lot easier to bald myself up and just kind of put some gold on me. And kind of just go ahead and just be the mummy guy, So
Pharaoh Price here. So so you had Almost Amazing out this year too, which is a departure, I think, from a lot of your other stuff. What was the thought process of making something that's not a genre film, not horror, it's not science fiction?
Oh my goodness, man. You know what? So, okay. So every time I try to piece together something, a project, I have to speak on what I want to say or what I'm trying to do because, it's like movie 10. So at some point, like your catalog is going to be indicative of what you're saying as an artist, right? Now we're kind of getting past the finger painting and the colors. And at first it was color painting and et cetera, watercolors. Now I'm using acrylic. And now my palette is growing. And this is odd. When I first started, and this is weird, I was told not to do black films. And by told, I mean like distributors. They were like, yeah, no, we can't buy that. There's nothing we can do with that black film. So being a guy that's looking for investment and pitching products, you can't go in, just doesn't make sense to say, hey, yo, I have this black script, if you will, or this urban film. And I know you guys aren't really invested in that, but you should invest in this one. And it just makes it a harder pitch because, you look young, you don't sort of give out this idea of security as an investor. I'm not going to invest in you because you're giving me something I've never seen. You're telling me to invest in something I can't see, and there's nothing for me to compare it to. And you're no one. You're not Spike Lee. You're not, John Singleton. So I can just rest my laurels on the idea that you know how to make this film and reach an audience. So me pitching an urban film is almost the equivalency of me going into Dunkin' Donuts and trying to sell them on an apple strudel. It doesn't make sense, right? So what happens is I started just making sure to sort of take those ideas of what I would put into the urban film and put them throughout all of my projects. Like Alien Reign of Man, we have Minorities in Space, etc. We went over this last time we were there, and infuse them throughout. But I finally had enough clout and my own finances, along with Monkey Entertainment, Matt Simmons, and Eddie Herrera. I said, hey, let's make a black film. And I know this is weird. You just have to say things because it makes it easy for people to consume. You just want to say, you can't say romantic comedy because it's kind of genre, it's a genre of itself, if you will. So I had to say, let's make an urban film. And they were like, okay, where are you going to sell it? I said, I have no clue. I have no clue who's going to buy this shit, but I just really have to make one. And then I just started running into a lot of blowback, man. Like, and this is weird. This is what happens. And this is why it was weird. No black actors wanted to work with me. And isn't that weird? Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I know this is confusing, but it was like the shock on my face was, if you could see me right now, I know this is a podcast, but if you could see my face, it was almost like, what? What? It just didn't make sense. Like, yeah, no, we don't want to work with him. So I'm talking, paid work. I couldn't find someone to hire. I'm not talking like, hey, what are you doing this Saturday? Let's shoot a movie, in your off time after the Cowboys play on Sunday. What are you doing? It's just, hey, I'm trying to pay you to be the lead. And it's like, yeah, no, because we see your body of work and we've never seen an urban film from you. So we don't know what it's going to look like. And so I was like, oh my God, this is like the cart before horse conversation that you would have. It's like it's a circle that completes itself. You never will win in this situation. So Brian Hooks actually came on and he said, you know what, man, I like your energy. I like what you're trying to do. I'm going to make some calls. And so he put me in touch with Reno Rankin, Torrey Hart, Jasmine Lewis. And then from there, Reno Rankin, God rest his soul, R.I.P., he started bringing in other talent. And he was like the vouch guy for me. Reno was like, yeah, you should do that because this young brother is going to be somebody. And then other talent, then my phone just kept ringing. You know what I mean? Just everyone wanted to work. Hey, yo, Reno,
that's awesome, man.
He said that, yeah. He said that you're going to be the next thing, man. And I said, well, I don't know if he got that right, but I'm going to try. That's going to be really the goal. I really appreciate the energy. And it was really, really, really cool. And then Brian Hooks, again, you got to start. Torrey Hart came on, and, obviously her ex is big, Kevin. And even her, like the fact that she was like, you know what, I want to work with you. I want to bring you into the fold. Come on up out to the house and let's talk about projects. Let's talk about the future. How can we help keep infusing, changing the African-American community experience as far as entertainment goes? And I remember, man, sitting down at the table with Reno, Torrey Hart, and all the Harts, just sitting there and talking about doing a slate of films. Like, how can we do more? Because I'm able to do them, and I have such a skill set that allows me to sort of teach others in the community how to move this way, because there's not really a lot of education in this field as far as editing, visual effects, directing, if you will, right? So I was like, man, it's really something I can infuse into the community. And then Reno cancer came, or it resurfaced, if you will, and within a month he was dead, and it was like almost like losing a voice, you know. It was like losing a voice in the room. And so that movie, Almost Amazing, is dedicated to him, dedicated to Brian, Torrey Hart, all the people that really wanted to see something happen. And Encore picked it up. And again, not something they normally would do, because he has one urban title out of a catalog of 200. But he saw the viability in it, and love story, and the heart that's behind it. And I mean, we have one critic on the film. That's how crazy it is. One critic watched that film, and that's Michael from Search My Trash. That's it. The only critic that wanted to review Almost Amazing.
Wow.
I'm talking out of like, you know, and we're not talking like reaching out to the LA Times or something.
Sure,
we're talking
but yeah.
people who will review Ginger Boy Man 3, but they couldn't review Almost Amazing.
Right.
like, you know, like, oh, it's beneath me. We we have better things to review. So it's like, we couldn't get but one critic on it. And so it's a really great film that we've been pushing out. And E1 picked it up for a DVD for January 28th, but Redbox, no. Because again, no urban title, can't move it into the Redbox. So you get what I mean? So it's such a struggle, and that's something that you have to consistently push forward through, because you understand it, and you have to see that it's a business model that you have to usurp by continuously pushing that barrier, that fourth wall. And so that's why Almost Amazing was important to me. It's really one of the most personal films I've done, in the sense of where I didn't know what was going to happen. You do a horror film, you kind of have an idea that it's some sellability to it, some viability, there's some idea of where it could go. You know, a movie like The Elf, Christmas, horror, you kind of have an idea. It's easy to consume. You know, oh, okay, I see why you would make that film. Almost Amazing, black leads. We're not selling drugs. We're not, you know, pulling out, doing a lot of these stereotypical tropes, baby daddies or whatever it may be, type of things. So it's very hard to consume. And so it was very personal, and it's really important to me, that film. And so I always try to push it as much as I can. Just to, hey man, go out. I have people from, you know, Dylan, Gwen from Beyond. She tweeted out about it. You know, Beyond's on Freeform. She's a good friend, and she put it out on her Twitter. And a lot of people supporting in the industry.
That's got to be gratifying in the end.
Yes, it really is, man. And you brought it up here too, so thank you so much, man. I didn't even, you know, obviously I didn't, you know, put it into the Lex. So it's great. Thank you for bringing up Almost Amazing. So that's the film. I didn't tell anyone what it's about, but it's these three guys run a breakup card company, and they have loves that their boss, Eric Roberts, makes them fall in love so they can write better breakup cards, and they end up falling in love with the people that they're dating, and they don't know how to break up with them, and they end up, you know, having to for work. And so it's like, you know, they have these fake relationships essentially, and it's really just a tale of friendship, the BS that we put ourselves through in love, and all. It's just so much that goes into it, like real down to earth kind of a comedy, buddy comedy, where we're creating a lot of these scenarios for ourselves, man. It's really fun, and we shot all over New York. We shot in LA. I mean, it's just, we got the ball drop. I mean, it was just so much that went into that, man. It was so dope. So if you get a chance, just check out Almost Amazing. You know, just so much that goes into doing films like that. Like, again, it was just out of my own pocket. You know, I just wanted to put up, you know, $50,000 of my own money and make a film that I literally would make $0 on, because, you know, it's nowhere. Like my
a labor of love.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm excited for it.
When you hear that though, that they say like there's no marketability to you know, an urban film, like whoa, that's, what do you think about that? Like, how does that make you feel as a filmmaker, you know, and as a African American?
Pissed off, and deceived, and I think that's the truth, that's the real response. But I believe what you have to do, and I know this is always sucks in our community, you always have to look on the bright side. Yeah, that happened, but hey, come on. You guys are free now. So it's like, there's always a brighter side that you always constantly are flipping within the African American community. And I think what I've come to learn, and that's why I wanted to do films this way, as in I wanted to play in the field the way that people play in it, so I can see what people are buying. For example, I want to be very specific. Why internationally things are happening and why they're not. There's certain things I can't put in films for certain territories. There's still a large portion of society that has homophobia, so you can't put that in your film if you want to go to a certain territory. That's mind-boggling to me, that I can't have, a gay lead, because
that's all so
you want to go
disheartening when you hear that.
It is, exactly. That's why I said pissed off was my first reaction. It's not understanding. The first reaction is pissed off. That's the first, you initially you take it.
Yeah, understand.
And then you have to look at it. And I've been breaking that down for a while, Neil, and I'm going to be at the Hollywood, I believe the Houston Black Film Festival in March, and I'm on a panel. So I'm hopefully going to get a chance to speak to a lot more people, and as far as from my community, and sort of bring forth this idea. And because I've been living with this my whole life, as far as my whole career, I've been dealing with that. I have to do double the work. I walk into a room, not only am I young, but I'm black. I don't look like the people in the room. I had this conversation with a guy who's starting a company now, and we were in the skybox, and he was like, yeah, man, you're doing a lot of movies. It's really cool, man. He's like, but, it's just weird because black people are just not getting it. And I said, I want you just to look around in this skybox. We're all up here having our fine dinings and enjoying the Clippers game. How many black people you see in this room? And it was all sales agents, distributors, and buyers. And I was the only one. And he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, wow, yeah, it's just you. I said, do you realize that Germany and Berlinale, you go there? And obviously, I'm generalizing. I don't want people to go, oh, I saw seven black people when I went. Someone else, it's always a but generally speaking, it's, if you're not from like Africa Film Commission or South Africa, or you're just, someone that had a film made like myself, and you're just kind of there trying to figure it out, the African American community represented in Berlinale, just in Germany, it's non-existent. There's no booth that you can go to. You see like a slate of African American films. You know what I mean? I'm talking like just one. There's not even one. If it is one, it'd be someone like a Paula Patton, or, you know what I mean? You get my drift here, like someone that's so out there that you go, okay, that's a notable name. That's why that movie got distributed. And even then, it's within a genre like Richard T. Jones, but it's a Christian film. Okay, cool. He does really well with Christian films. All right, yeah, we'll do that. But then the rest of it is, Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
Eric Roberts, Harvey Keitel, on and on and on and on. That's it. And I don't see anyone like myself walking around like, oh, hey, how you doing? Shake hands and sit down and talk films. Doesn't happen. I go to all the festivals. And Cannes, sort of the similar situation. It's getting better. Obviously, there's a short films corner, but we're talking the short films corner. We're not talking, where you have XYZ's booth set up, or you have the Lionsgate booth set up. Just walk around. Next time you go to a festival, just walk around and just look at the booth and look at the artwork of the films, and just tell me how many minorities you see, not just African Americans, how many Latinos you see, how many gay stories are out there, et cetera. It's non-existent. It's like finding a pink dolphin. It just doesn't even make sense.
That's a shame.
In the marketplace. And so when I heard it, I had to break it down. Now to go back to what I thought, I was like, you know what it is? I don't want to be that person that goes, yeah, it's all bad because, they're just trying to stick it to us. It really comes down to it's a system. And systematically speaking, we have catered to a certain demographic. And it's just not, it's just the way it is. If you cater to a certain demographic for a long time, it's very difficult to see beyond that because there's no room for errors. That makes sense. Like there's no room for you to take a risk. So my movie, Almost Amazing,
right?
It has names in it. It's not just me and my cousin. It's like you got Torrey Hart, you got Brian Hooks, you have Ariel Miranda, you have Camilla Bannis from All My Children, you have Jasmine Lewis from Barbershop. You have Asmarie Livingston from Empire. You know what I mean? I can just go on and on and on and on. You have Billy Blanks. You got, it's enough for you to go, okay, I know who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
And yet still, I don't know what we'll do with it. But had that movie been just me and my cousin, and the movie with the title of it was Weed Killer or something, Ghetto Boys, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, we can move this. Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, we know how to get this to the audience. Or we were dancing on the front cover, like I'm in a posed position with my abs out and some sweat, and there's like, you get where I'm going with that. Because again, I don't know how much of that is infused in racism as much as it's infused in, that's what we sold you as before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we've consumed it. So it makes sense to the audience because you're doing something that we used to seeing you do. And I know that's very weird to say because that, again, is bullshit. But it's how people are able to pitch and sell things very easily. Like, what's this movie about? 3 black guys in the hood, like Friday. Oh, like Friday. Oh, okay. So it's a Friday. Yeah, it's a Friday. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll invest in that. As opposed to, it's 3 black guys and what they're doing is they're running a company. What kind of company? It's a breakup car. Okay, what kind of breakup car? Is it like funny breakup cars, like baby mamas and no, it's just regular breakup cars. Oh, wow. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense to us. We haven't sold that before. What are we going to do with this shit? So you kind of have to come up with some weird off-the-wall thing, and they're selling weed. Oh, instead of breakup cars, weed. There we go. Now we can get, okay.
Now we're
Thank
all
God.
over it.
Yeah.
At first, I thought you were trying to make a movie. It's confusing here, and now I realize you just want to peddle what we've normally done. Thank you. You almost lost us. So I have to deal with that sort of ideology, and again, it's not from people who have some of it is a little malice intent, but I think generally speaking, I'm not a buyer, but I can see why you just don't have time to sort of break down the nuances of why you need product in the way you need it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? And I think that's lazy, but it's how people have survived for years. So how you kind of, you really have to continuously break the ground and break the head against. So I've gotten I got 5 movies in the Red Box, 6, 7 Red Box movies in the last 2 years. People don't even know my name, in the sense of like in the community, right? Whereas I can see someone else do 1 or 2 films, and man, they're probably directing Godzilla by now. It's like they do 1 movie and it's like automatically boom. Like I've been in those rooms. I've been in pitch meetings at Sony. I've been in pitch meetings at Lionsgate where I'm sitting next to a guy who done a short film, but he looks a certain way, and hey, let's go with that guy. You know what I mean? Like it's tried and true. You get my drift? It's like, I've seen him before. I've never seen you. So I can trust what he's going to do. I guess in a way, it's almost like what's happening in the cop, like this sort of this push and pull between policemen and urban and African American community. It's like, I don't deal with you. So I don't know that you're not aggressive because I don't live here. My dealings with you are rap music, hip hop, and what I see on TV. And some of the few moments where I've had to arrest you, for whatever. So that's my dealings with you. So I don't know how to go, let me assess this situation calmly, because that's not my experience. So I'm literally dealing with fighting a lot of battles just to get the film, just to get into rooms, or just to even sit down in a room and have a conversation about the next project or distributor project. And I have to always take it on the chin and realize that, as an innovator or a visionary who's not trying to just peddle, Christian urban film content type thing, or, selling weed kind of movies. I'm doing a mummy movie, you know what I mean? Like, that's very difficult for people to consume. Like, oh my God, this guy.
Yeah, it's out of their comfort zone then.
It just completely throws wrenches into this idea that you can't think outside the box. And I mean, I guess most communities, we're a mosaic of people. No one thinks one way. But again, you just assume that, you're not able to pull that off because you just haven't seen it, man. And so I'm looking forward to Black Panther. I'm looking forward to A Wrinkle in Time. I have a DuVernay. I'm looking forward to seeing these projects. And obviously people love Get Out.
Yeah, it was
Oh yeah.
yeah, and that was a huge hit.
Yeah, it's a shock. But you ever notice if you didn't do it, I don't know if you guys had the experience, but it was like when I walked out, I got approached by a white person would come up to me and they go, "Hey, I really enjoy to get out," and they were just so excited to talk to me about it. Right? They couldn't wait. It was like making them feel better about how they may have treated people in the past. I was in one moment, "Hey, I just want to tell you, I love to get out." Like that becomes a thing. It's like I voted for Obama a third time. It was almost that was incomparable to it. And so that's the thing that's so crazy about it, man. You just have to consistently push, man, and it gets annoying and it gets very frustrating. I don't want to sound like I'm beating the political drum, but if you don't have the conversation, then you never change the narrative. If you never change the narrative, then you don't have a reason to see it differently. And if you don't have a reason to see it differently, things will always stay the same. I think people get that confused. They think if you bring things up that you're kind of reliving a past, and no, it's actually the present. You're talking about a reality that exists now. This exists now. It's not that I make bad films, or it's really subjective, to be honest. Like what sort of predicates. I know that's with a grain of salt because we can tell a shit film when we see one, but it's really subjective. The idea of what that means, because as Sony Pictures, you can make 10 terrible movies and one Fast and Furious. No one's going to go, yeah, but we saw 9 movies that we didn't like. It's just going to be cool. Fast and Furious was great. Let's move on. Like, it doesn't hold, no one hold. I've never seen audience members buy a ticket and go, "Oh, this is a Sony film? Oh, no, I can't do it."
Yeah, the last 2 Disney movies were flops, so we're not going to go see them. Pirates,
Yeah, I'm not going to
ain't happening.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's Disney. No, it doesn't make sense because they're doing so much. It's because you kind of, again, it's subjective. It's about, it moves in a flowing way. So I've done 10 movies. You might have hated all 10. It's not about the 10 films. It's about I'm having to create a narrative for myself just to get into the conversation. I've had to do more films to have a conversation about one film, And like I may have only had to do 7 of these just to do Almost Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Because I couldn't do Almost Amazing. So someone may be sitting back going, yeah, but why would you just not do Almost Amazing first? Well, because that's just not how the world's set up. You can't just come out the gate as Justin Price, the guy that has an Almost Amazing script. And then people go, oh, okay, cool, you can deliver a film. Go. You may have to do Forsaken, before it's like, oh, okay, you understand the nuances of filmmaking. Okay. And then that now allows you the opportunity to continue to consistently work and move forward. So who knows? I mean, everyone has aspirations of being bigger and doing things better, but I'm just explaining like it's odd. So you have to see it. You have to see what it is. And it makes you mad if you let it. I just let it drive me because I know, at the end of the day that it's bigger than my name in the sense of if I made 800 terrible films or not. It's really about I was pushing the envelope every single time, Alien Rain of Man just sold to China. It's in Japan. I'm in it. I'm black. I'm in space. Cool's in it. She's Asian. She's in space. Tori Hart's in it. She's black. We're in space. There's women. They're running the New Order. I don't care if the movie's the worst movie ever seen. It's going to be seen by over millions of people, or hundreds of thousands of people realistically, and it's all over the world. And again, that's like, it just starts the conversation. Like, yeah, you know what? I saw this really shitty movie that one time with this black guy, the lead. He was in space, though. It was terrible, but yeah, he was in space. And like, I heard they died in Iceland. It was crazy. It was an X-Files episode. It was cool. But at least now, the next time, it won't be like, what? In space? Did they have rims on the spaceship? Like, it's just, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just the little seed just drops in there over and over. You just have to consistently keep filling that bucket. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, again, not trying to just like, oh, I'm just going to make, I'm making things with a purpose in the sense of what we're trying to do. I don't have an ego. I'm not trying to write and direct 88 films, before I turn 30. It's not my goal. So I'm really trying to change that narrative and say, see, you said that wouldn't sell in China. It's in China. So it apparently had nothing to do with if black people were leading it or not. So, yeah, take that. person, whoever figuratively that I'm speaking to.
So, how's the best way to follow you online and follow the Elf and your future projects?
I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/Justin Price X, just the letter X. And on Instagram, I'm Picture Zero, which is my company, PIKCHURE 0, ZERO, all one word. And that's on Instagram, Picture Zero. And on Twitter, I'm Jupiter Rings, JUPITER RINGS. So Jupiter Rings with an S. I am there, not tweeting much. I'm Instagramming a lot. And Facebooking a lot and Snapchatting a lot, but that's for personal people. Neil, you can get that if you want to see me later on, survive in the wild. I think it's Little Show J, LILSHOJ. I don't know, because I didn't realize you had to create the username first.
Okay.
When I did my Snapchat, I thought you could change it later. Apparently you can't. So I'm Little Show J, which is very weird because I don't know how that name came about. It's like a random name generator. Or Justin Price for real. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so I'm there, man. And again, thank you so much for having me on. I know
it's always fun. It's great to talk to you. No, we like that.
Yeah, always good stuff.
Wherever the conversation takes us, that's good.
Well, rock and roll, man.
Yeah,
rock and roll.
It's always a pleasure to have you on, and I hope to have you back when Pharaohs is out.
Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, and happy holidays. Happy holidays to the listeners.
You as well, and everyone check out The Elf.
Yes.
The Elf.
The Elf in Redbox now, as well as 13 Friday, as well as Forsaken, as well as Alien Reign of Man, as well as I'm playing. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin. Very good time.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a good. Yep. Take care, man.
Hey, this is Marlon Taylor, the young Mike Hanlon from Stephen King's It, and you are listening to Without Your Head.